Hi, good morning. Good morning. It's morning right now. It's about 3:30 over here. I just thought I'd put on my live for a bit. Normally I don't do random lives, but in this case I feel like I have to um till about 5ish. Um yeah, well, as you can see from I have posted about Christian Keys. Well, actually, there's a few things going on. There's a lot of things going on. There's Epstein list coming out of the people who was going to the island. Now, we all know that there's loads of things that was going on that island, a lot of things, hence why he and Maxwell was what you call it, in prison. Um So now there's a list coming out. I don't know who exactly is putting it out. I think I saw Diddy was doing it. I'm not sure. I like to go and confirm stuff, but then, I think when we see the list, it will confirm to us that a lot of celebrities are part of the thing, which we already know already. I think we already know that already, because a lot of people is awake in knowing that the elites play a big, or the high ups, however they want to call them, play play. Children is always the objective for you know for the adrenochrome, all that stuff. Normally I will cover this on the other channel. Um, being that how it's part of the trafficking side of things is quite deep. Now we all know. Now I did remember seeing that there's a video of the Disney with Epstein of a little girl, and the little girl's on his lap on the plane. So I feel that this will show a lot of people see all them secret parties, etc., etc. Societies, high society likes um it's all gonna come out. But like I said, Alexander already called this out already. He said the month, or what's it called, December, a lot of things will be exposed. A lot of things will be exposed. And that is what's happening. Things haven't stopped being exposed from last month, I think month before that. It's just been coming out. And to me, I just think what it's supposed to do is supposed to confirm stuff to people. It confirms stuff to people. But I feel that when people have woken up, they're gonna try and shut them down. That's what I feel personally. Um, Everybody's all at different stages of woke. Okay, there's no bigger woke. Oh, I'm more woke than you. Da, da, da. We're all at different stages of woke. Right. So another thing that I'm gonna say also is Christian Keys. Now they re-released his background and stuff like that. But I was listening to the tarot reader that I've also put on the community tab. If you listen to the tarot reader on the community tab, but she is very good. Okay, she's very good. Everything she says normally is so okay. And Christian Keys, like I said, until a lawsuit like Cassie is being really is taking proceedings, sometimes well, me personally, I'm not talking about anybody else. I rather just sit back and wait because because it will come up in somewhere. It will come up somewhere at one point because um whoever the man is, this billionaire or whoever, um it will come to a head. And like others have said, Boondocks was taken down because of Tyler Perry. There was a portrayal of Tyler Perry in Boondocks with the guys, with the men's, and Tyler Perry got it but it stopped. And to be honest, sometimes that alone shows you, that speaks, that says a lot. That says a lot about what's going on with him. I mean, I'm like lots of people hoping it's not him, but sometimes, right, you don't know what be going on, like when people are not on screen or whatever. They have to keep up appearances. It's just like that King Yahweh one, like I said, making out he's a philanthropist. But then there's questions. My questions is questions. You always have to have questions. Like that channel question everything. You have to make sure, you have to look and keep an eye and keep an open mind that people will portray themselves or whoever they want to be. Um, Tyler Perry has really done really well for himself. He's done pretty well. He's got land. He's run whole studios. He's done a lot of stuff. Mine, like I said, there's stories coming out about him as well at one point. There's a few stories about him coming out. So um I feel with the Christian one, I'm gonna watch. There is a lady that I'll plan to watch. I might bring her slices of her to the forefront. That's if my storage allows me to. Because because some people are very on point. Sometimes I don't even have to say nothing because you know what? Some people be thinking how I'm thinking. Because when certain things come out of the woodwork, sometimes you have to just like, unless it's something very major, like on Sunday when I think Sunday or Saturday when I did Christian speaking about his experience with that person, with that man. And like I said, it seemed to me like it's been going on for years. For years. I think he did actually give a time span because Remy picked up on that. Um, he recorded and kept record of it. So if he, like I said, if he uses those recordings and do what he's got to do, um, it will basically come out because there's always people somewhere, or what they do, they call a press conference, something's always, something will surface. And on top of that, um I try to be open minded. I am a Saggy, so I'm a bit optimistic on certain stuff because um sometimes the first deduction is always right. So your first gut feeling of what's going on with that person on the screen is always the right one. We all interpret what we see on the screen different. So I like to, not only do I like to give my opinion, I like to hear other opinions. Now, what else? There's something else I was meant to talk about. I can't even think right now. I can't even think because I'm trying not to think on mummy sectors stuff. But oh yeah, and also please go to the dark side of Ocean Yummy Ocean Yummy Media, because over there is a bit more on the, sometimes you go deeper into things as well. I recently covered the Atlanta child murders. I covered, like yesterday, I did UCKG because UCKG did a documentary. I think it was Hi Professor Cupcake. It's 8 a.m. Wow, it's only just turned 3:40 over here. Just turned 3:40. So I'm just like, well, yeah, I covered the Atlanta murders. YouTube was playing a little bit on the dark side of Ocean Yemi for some reason, but um, my Wi-Fi always goes dodgy when I'm on that side. I don't even know why, but I trying to work around. I'm trying to bring up to spar with this one over here. Um, I covered the Cult Light Church. Then Lisa yesterday was talking about Ruby. That's it, Ruby Frank. Ruby Frank. Okay. Ruby Frank was in a cult, which I had no idea she was until Lisa mentioned it. Anyway, I asked Lisa to give me the name of the cult. When I went and I looked, I mean, I don't know whether I should cover it or not. I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, right? But anyway, I was like, I mostly put Ruby alongside the cruelty, what she did to her children. That's how I'm more related to her. I don't relate to her as a cult. I've put up a picture of somebody who was part of that connections cult. Um, it appears Ruby's always been that way for a long time. It appears to me. Whether Judy actually is truly a cult leader by many, many, many levels. I think I heard separating from husband and stuff like that, but I don't want to say exactly because I like to go look into it myself, like I said, and then give my opinion on it because she did her children wrong, you know. She did her children wrong. As like, not only was she a mummy vlogger, she was a therapist of some sort, right? And on top of that, right, she used to, I would say, starve her children, be quite cruel to her children. Now, okay, there's disciplining a child and there's totally taking it too far with your child, right? To a level that you're like, I mean, I can give many scenarios of children running to neighbors and CPS and police getting called. Yeah, Christian therapist, certified Christian therapist. Yes, exactly. And her child happened to do the same thing. Now, now. There's been many stories of these happenings. Now, I can't remember what state she's in, but it just shows you how cruel most of these mummy vloggers are. I mean, I was talking about My Jazzy Life. I mean, there's My Jazzy Life, there's Nika, and that's in the mummy sector. There's many others too, but then it's like some children don't understand that they can escape their mother until they're a certain age. They don't realize it. And I feel with Ruby, right, maybe because she had teenage children as well, right? They kind of realized that how they was in a bad situation, and I think they made a plan and they formulated their escape from their mum because if the school is calling you, right, right? When we know as parents, this happens like when something's happened, when your child is sick, when there's something wrong, the school calls you. The school calls you and says to you, your child haven't got lunch and you need to bring lunch. And I think her daughter was making her lunch. Sure enough, she is kind of age to make lunch, but then at the same time, the school called her and she was on the live talking of this, that, and I was like, okay, I haven't watched all of it, but for my thinking is that how she was using food as a catalyst, that's the word, a catalyst, like taking away food, having them sleep on, um, not on beds. I think the teenage son was on bed, then he got sent to camp. Then I heard there was a Mormon. I said, "Oh my God, this Mormon, is that what it is?" She's actually part of a Mormon church. I said, "Wow." I said, "This is unreal. This one." Now, now you know me, right? I don't like to do lives unless I have stuff in front of me, because the journalists do their research as well, okay? And it's good to always have the stuff in front of you to back up whatever. Now, there's numbers of videos that's been wiped of certain stuff because I think once the crime's been done, they wipe off some of the YouTube videos or whatever happens. And I think this is what's happened, because when Lisa went to go look for them, the videos, she couldn't find it. But there is people who has covered about these connections cult. People who's covered them, and I'm gonna look at some of that. I don't know whether we'll talk about it. I don't know. I might just like do what I did with the twin flames. We'll just post it up, I guess, because cults, right now, right, as we see in the coming of the age is happening and stuff is happening, these are when these cults are gonna show their ugly heads, because there's people searching for stuff. There's people looking for whatever they're looking for. They're trying to find a family. Some people's come from broken backgrounds. Some people's come from tight, strict families. So people is always searching for some kind of escape. And I feel this is. I mean, it ain't started yet, but I mean, over here, for instance, next year everything's gonna go up. It's gonna be crazy over here for about, I think, 6 years or something like that. And people are really looking for a savior at this present moment. And to be honest, it's gonna be the young people, and it's gonna be some families. But the fact that this lady was part of, I mean, I know I used to hear about Mormon churches, because of the sister wives thing. So, and I'm just like, wow, okay, that says a lot about who Ruby Frank is as a person. Now, when I saw that she pleaded guilty, I think, yeah. And I said, yeah, well, judge by what she did to the children, she deserved to be pleaded guilty, because we know that there are many scenarios where children are in cruel things, being in cages, shackled to beds. Okay, using my Jersey life as a good example, not being fed properly, especially the mummy vloggers, because some mummy vloggers will show their crime blatantly in face, blatantly, and children not getting what they want, and like sometimes it makes you look at yourself, because you're thinking, oh, I hope I'm not like that person, because you never know, innit? You never know. So, most of the mummy vloggers really, really do a lot. Either they show too much of the child. Now, bear in mind that right, no one knows who's on the other side of the screen, right? No one knows, right? And I think I did see something with Medusa, but I don't know. I don't think anybody else picked it up with Medusa Gotti. And I thought that nobody else picked it up, which is really strange. But me personally, because I don't cover the mummies like that, I don't react on them. So, um, and I'm not in contact with the mummy bloggers like that. So the mummy reactors like that. So it's like I saw something and I was like, oh wow. So to me, like, you don't know who's on the other side of the screen. There is the dark web. There is so many things going on. Even yesterday when I was walking with my daughter, my youngest, we was walking down a road, and as we're crossing, there's a man, this, and because she's talking, you know how children like expressing themselves. Then he's just breaking his neck. I'm thinking to myself, I said, hold up, wait a minute. Anyways, then he carried on walking. He's still looking. So I kept saying to my daughter to lower her voice and stuff like that, because she's very expressive. And And I was like, wow. And I was like, you see that though? That's how easy it is. That's how easy it is. Like, you don't know who or what's around or where or how or whatever. So some of what the mummy vloggers do is like they don't think, like some don't think, and some situations as well is internal. Like Nika with 10 additions is very much internal, and you can see it, and even from the cooking point of view. Okay, and I ain't the best cook. Okay, let me just tell you that for sure, right? But I tell you, if when I'm ready to throw down, I'll throw down, just like the rest of them. But at the same time, right, you have to cater to the children that is there. Now, if you're rushing the food, the same way how you are, your energy is, that's how that what goes into the food to feed the children. Some children are very fussy. You can't get them to eat much. Now, when a child likes to eat, that's the best, I feel. But when your child is fussy, it's hard. Now, most of these mummy vloggers or bloggers or whatever, I don't know. Some, I feel like, I think many have said this, there's a mental something going on. Some people haven't dealt with their childhood traumas, some people have, and it's very much there, right? At first, like it's internal sometimes, and unless someone calls it out, then you would sort it out basically. Some people don't even do that. Like, some of these mummy vloggers have underlying something stuff going on. Some of them have special needs. Right, I'm dyslexic. Yes, I am. Okay, I'm dyslexic myself, but at the same time, I get through it. I've always got through stuff. I've raised 4 children and still able to do other stuff. And I have to have a passion for it. If I don't have that passion, it's all over. It's all done. And once I put it down, that's it. It's finished. And some people, I feel, right, it's being able to maneuver around that thing. Now, we've seen people with no foot. There's a lady who's got no legs. She's got amputated legs and she's raising children. All her children look so well. I think she's a Christian lady as well. And when you see people like that, right, you yourself, it pushes you to excel for yourself. People talk about black excellence and all that. That's one part of it. But there's another side where people, I don't know, where some people don't get, or maybe some people think that, like I keep saying, people think that we're all ratchet and whatever, whatever. I like reggae music just like the rest of them, but I don't go to dance halls. No, I don't do the dance halls. Um, now I'm older, right? Well, it's even worse now, right? So I would quicker sit down and listen to some Congolese music and just chill out and eat my food at home, and that's how I would stay. But there's some people who don't seem to understand that how, right? There's all levels of education and all levels here. And because a person comes on, hi Wendell, just because a person comes on to as a mummy blogger or whatever. Oh, Wendell, yeah, yeah, yeah. Right. Um, it doesn't mean to say that everybody's ratchet and everybody's a certain way. Some people are in high up places. You never know. I used to follow this lady called Imaku. Imaku is very well spoken, very well read woman as well. There's others, there's the men as well, but I can't remember the men right now. But very well read, very well read, right? Um, some people's gone through different stages, different journeys, and when there's women, especially black women, who comes on here portraying that behavior, right? They put everybody in the same boat. And that's why I look at Shaida and Badil, or certain ones, because they hold class. They hold class. When I saw Shaida on 90 Day Fiance, being she's from Trinidad as well, and she dresses so well, right? I mean, and it's not because she's Muslim. I think even if she wasn't Muslim, she'd be dressing well anyway, right? It makes you think, okay, right, I want to be like that. I want to be able to walk into a room and, like, like you don't have to say nothing. You just walk into a room and the room gravitates towards you. Sometimes you don't even have to say nothing, right? You don't even have to stand out. You don't have to be the loudest one in the room. Just your presence alone shakes a room. Some people believe, okay, and I'm not slating nobody who wears makeup or whatever, right? We all come from different stages of life. So you walk into a space, and sometimes, like I said, you'll be in the background, but somehow someone will gravitate towards you. They gravitate towards you. When they gravitate towards you, people alone, like the whole room will sort of gravitate. You don't even have to say none. And I think that's the greatest power to have. I always refer to the Mistress of Spice and certain ones, because, like, knowledge is key. Yes, it is key, but then sometimes you have to be sort of realistic to a certain way, right? And this is why I try not to put my personal stuff on my subs and all that stuff, because they all come from all different walks of life. They all come from certain things. The only thing I will say is, if I see something pertaining to the conscious community and I know it's not so, I will say, okay, it's not so. Right, that's me. Right, because there is a lot of scammers, even in the UK here as well. Now, just the other day, where was I? I was at Queen Throne, and Wesley's name came up. I was like, wow. I said, oh my days. Then he went off in one direction. He went up on a live, fight out live. He was going into one. I was like, damn. But it's like, if one person talks, right, this is my theory on stuff. If one person talks and they say something, then another one comes and they say the same thing and confirm it. If it is a duck, looks like a duck, it is a duck. That's how it is. And people don't understand. Like, they just like, just like, no. Like, right now there is a lot of predators out more than ever than before. Like, I just experienced that with my child. Now I've made a video about the conscious predators ages ago, and I said, can you imagine, right, you can't even take your child nowhere. Like, you have to be always aware. You got to be surrounded by many, many, many people. You have to go with like a band of people, because you don't know who. The world is funny. The world's a funny place. Mind you, it's not the world, it's the people in it that makes it all messed up. Mother Nature is very much not happy with a lot of things. Just the other day, I saw a country got flooded, tornado. Uh, oh yeah, the tornado. But even that, right? That the house where the tornado hit, the baby, the baby got flung into a tree, and the mother was frantically looking for the baby. Then when they looked, the baby was up in the tree. Like, to me, it wasn't the time for that child to go. The child got saved. And people need to look at things on like you said, analytical level sometimes. There's a lot of analytical thinkers on YouTube, right? They think very broad, some of them. And when they talk, like, their words speak a lot of volumes as well. You can, like, shake a room just by your voice alone. Okay. Anyway, let me see what you're saying, because I'm gonna start going into my thing. Greetings, Professor. To come and show maybe some love. We forget how one voice is keeping using it as an instrument. I met Yemi over trips. See where has like 5 years ago. Grateful for my friends. Oh, that's nice. Yeah. So So basically, there is a lot going on. Like King Yahweh. Now we know the Yahwehs in Jamaica got shaken up. I haven't heard or seen nothing from them since. King Yahweh is still walking around like he's some, I don't even know, King Sultan, King of Sultans, King of whatever. I don't even know what is. He walks around and he's everywhere, literally. Right? He's everywhere. King Yahweh. Well, Prince Yahweh. So King Yahweh, right? And he keeps saying he's a philanthropist. Philanthropist. Now, like I said, when they say they're philanthropists, that's when you have to look a bit more deeper into them. Because for all you know, there can be stuff going on. Being that he's linked to that name as well, right? There is always question marks in the community. This is where we as a people get all mixed up, I think. We get all mixed up because we're looking for a bloody savior, right? You can't find a savior in a man, right? People calling men gods and a god and a god and a god. Okay, if a man is doing good things, yeah, fair enough. He's good at his thing. He's good at his business. He knows what he's doing. He's able to pull in people and whatever. I used to talk about Dynasty Demir a lot as well, and others. Now, like so what I'm saying is like you have to be aware of certain people, man. You have to be aware. Not everything glitters is gold. Like the person can look glimmery on the outside, on the inside, it could be a demon on the inside. And I don't use those words lightly, right? This is a time where things are very much what's it, the eyes are opening, basically. The eyes are opening. Now, I watched a thing the other day. I'm just contemplating if I should talk about it. I was really waiting for someone else to talk about it because I think if she talks about it, then it will start the ball rolling with me as well. Right, confirm a couple things too. Um, so I'm basically not on here today to this whatever give whatever. But I'm just saying that like you have to be mindful of a lot of things. These mummy vloggers, the cult thing is something else. I've kind of lost a little bit of interest in carbonation to a certain extent. I will listen to other people give commentary in it about it because they have information that I can't reach as well, and they can reach places I can't reach. But at the same time, like I don't know. Sometimes I feel I take breaks from carbonation because carbonation, um, they're still in connection with each other. I don't feel okay now. Velvet's gone divorced. Okay, so now she can't use his name. Okay, she has to go quiet at this point. Um, Solar still being Solar. Um, and I personally don't like none of them. I don't feel sorry for none of them, and I wouldn't have none of them on my panel. I wouldn't entertain them in no shape or form or any way, which way, what way. And I'm not slating the ones who do, but at the same time, me personally, no. Um, carbonation is left a dirty taste in the community's mouth, I think. And Legio or Nature Boy is where he is, where he needs to be. He needs to be there. People can try to take him out or whatever. As you see, Fanta and her husband try to do something. I don't know. But people do researches. Will find out about them. There's people who go deeper than some. And when I saw her with that thing on her head, looking like, I can't remember, I was trying to think of the movie. She reminds me of a movie with all that cloth on her head, all that cloth on her head. I was trying to think of the movie she reminds me of, and and that's why I call her the siren. The reason why I call her the siren, because she's the way she's moving, like she got a tail. You know how the mermaids have the tail at the legs part. She moves like a mermaid, literally. It's just what gets lost in translation. She's carrying so many. She's got the looks. She's doing the rest thing. She's doing the new age thing. She's doing whatever else in between, and she's speaking and you're just like, okay, which path are you on? Okay, because there's only one path you can be on. You can look at many doctrines, but then you can only stick to one, because the deities, which I said, they get jealous, just like humans, they get jealous. You can't play with everybody all at the same time. You can't go from Orisha to Egypt. It doesn't work. It's contradiction. It's two different elements. Doesn't work together. They contradict each other. That's like having Orisha and a Christian, an Ifa person and a Christian in the house. It contradicts each other. They fight each other. And when you mix up everything, it goes crazy. It gets lost in translation. Right? And it's nice to be part of groups. I ain't gonna say no, don't be part of a group. No. But it gets lost in translation. Then you have to look up the one who's leading. Like I said, I used to be part of Nation of Islam. But then at the same time, there's nothing about Nation will call me back to Nation of Islam. Maybe I'll go to the events if I feel like. Maybe. Apart from that, I am not breaking myself to go and be doing what I was doing when I was how long ago. Those days are gone. You cannot be doing 1950s marching in 2023. I mean, protests, yes, you can still go on, but even that, they said they might bring a law against that. So carbonation is very much, I say they're lost. They're the lost ones. They ain't found nothing. They're all over the damn place. Natiri, I used to despise Natiri, not despise. That's a strong word. Natiri used to get on my nerves because not only is she from the islands, there's nothing about her that speaks islands to me. She has that Western mindset where it's all how I look on the outside, and there's nothing going on the inside. Maybe right now she might have a little bit of sun on the inside now because she's had the baby, but she might return to her old ways. You never know. So I'm just like, no, I'm not with the Natiri stuff. Natiri herself, I wouldn't take no energy from her, energy healing from her. I wouldn't take her candles. I wouldn't take nothing from that girl, that woman, because she right, like you can find yourself at any age. At any age, you can find yourself. You can define yourself. Fundi is a good example of that. You can define yourself of who you are. You can literally be educating others into doing that. You don't have to be part of anything. You know, you can change. You can say stuff, and you don't realize you're saying stuff, and it will move mountains. And it's like people don't. True, Natiri don't see that. It's all face value. It's all face value. So yeah, carbonation members, even the X, all know how to manipulate the social media. You never know who is lying and who is still supporting and who is telling. Yeah, exactly. And that's one of the reasons why, like, most of the Nature Boy sector has taken a step away from the content because it's a very draining content. Then there's Hi Leonard. Then they're busy calling the people right? They want people to know who they are. They want to go, viral. They want to go viral, but then they're calling everybody trolls. It's like, how does hi, Chrissy. It's like, how does that work? How does that work? You want to be viral like your master. When people talk about you, and mind you, we all do it, okay? Okay, we all do it. We all have opinions. Opinions are like assholes, okay? Right? But at the same time, they're calling people trolls. But your master put you out there like that in the first place. So, like, people, when he's in the jail, obviously there are people are still gonna be looking at you. They're still gonna be looking at you, whether you are, as Medea will say, fringe members on the outside, or whether you're on the inside of the membership. People are gonna look because because they want to see, have these people learned their lesson? Have they learned their lesson? Most they haven't learned their lesson. The three, the four, I don't know, three, four, I gotta say three stooges, but there's four of them, are still calling out to people to come and help take the man out. Zoka, Aya, Efaru, and Malia, who was the most abused, the most abused. I remember when I saw Zoka with her ashes flared up, and she looked so skinny, and her hair was so dry, and he was displaying them on the Bigo or something, or the Instagram, I can't remember. And you're just like Malia when she ran down the road. I mean, there's so many scenarios. Come on. And they still have woken up to the fact that this guy ain't coming back. They ain't woken up to the fact that he is not coming back. Right, fair enough. Some of them are playing herbalist and what's it? Like telling people how to eat and all this stuff. But really, how? Why would you take advice from someone who was in a cult? I certainly would not. If I find out they're in a cult, right, and they haven't worked on themselves or whatever, because remember, no one's perfect. We don't reach nirvana to probably when we're in our box or something. Okay, right? It is like you're working on yourself all the time as a person. Even the ones who ain't into nothing, they be working on themselves. The ones who don't talk about conscious stuff, the ones who don't be about conscious stuff, they be working on themselves. They be improving. So these people, like as I said, Solo was trying to do the retreat. Then something happened where he ran back to the Americas, right? Because you know what would have happened to him down there, isn't it? Right? So they constantly keep in touch with each other. They follow each other. When you go on Instagram, you see them. They're all following each other, all of them, right? And to me, Malia should really be out of there personally, because she was the illest one out of the lot of them. And the fact that she's still backing this man is just beyond me, to be honest. But then again, I kind of get it, because when a woman is abused, she would always be there for the abuser, right? Unknowingly knowing that she's doing it. So I get it on that level. But on the next side of things, it's like, how much torture can you take? You're still doing the B6 diet. They look so pale in the face. I'm a little person myself. I'm a very slim person. Heaven knows what their body's going through day in, day out, right? And they fail to forget that once you're associated with something, sometimes it's hard to keep that off. It's hard unless you really, 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 really disconnect from the thing. And um, they use social media as a catalyst. because they know lots of youngsters is on social media because they're really looking for the young. They're not really for the old, but the old will follow as well. They had members around Malia and had Nene, who called Velvet Beast her. And if Malia fought back, was told they would all jump her, then something happened to Velvet in the park. Yeah, I heard about what happened to Velvet in the park. He pushes back nationalism in his abuse. He says he helped the white man, so they let him be the devil. So they won't portray their race in the mind. But they only use their color card when they need to. It's because Nature Boy said he's not a black man. He's always said that. He said he's Instagram or some foolishness like that because he's like that type of idiot. He said that. I remember watching him for hours on end on people reacting to him and stuff. It is just crazy. So to me, he is where he should be. Okay, there's no doubts about it. Ruby Frank is where she should be. Okay, because it's just like you just I don't know. Like I said, people are searching for stuff, so they will come across these characters. They will come across them. They'll come across the characters, and they will think that they are the savior. They are that, but in fact, they're not. Right? They're not. Right? You are your savior. You can probably help yourself. Sometimes you need a little guidance. Yes, you do need a little guidance. But you have to know who you're getting guidance from. You have to like the one thing I didn't do was observe or learn about who Farrakhan was. Because probably if I knew Farrakhan was part of to do with Malcolm X, I probably would have never gone into Nation at one point. I never would have dealt with it. I don't think I would have. But when you're young, right, you go into groups thinking, okay, like, that it's a family, it's natural. Most people are like that. You go into groups, it's tribalism and all that stuff. It happens. People be searching for their tribe on a regular. But then they reach into bad places. Children do it on a regular basis. When they reach teenagers, the next thing they find themselves, they're in a gang. They don't even know that they're in a gang or whatever. It's constant. It's a constant thing. That's why when I did VYG on the dark side of Ocean Yem, the dark side of Ocean Yemi, when I read through the stuff, I mean, the thing cut off when I was reading it, but there is a lot that VYG did, like Universal Kingdom Church of God, do to the youngsters, you know. Then a name came up connected to that place, and I said, wow. So, and even that place is like a cult-like church, and it's like uh, all the signs are there. Not having time for their family, constantly doing fundraisers, taking their money, calling them demons. It's literally the cult template. People have mental health. They were saying that how the mental health is the demon. It's like crazy. Okay, so these youngsters be looking for something sometimes, and then they come across these men. The other day, I saw somebody posted a Nature Boy in the feathers, and I went into her comment section and I said, "That's a cult leader." And I'm thinking, do you not do research on people? Do you not do research? No, I don't think she did. She posted up Nature Boy in the feathers, talking about he was indigenous, and that's when they was in Puerto Rico at the time. And when I saw it, I said, wow, you see? Now, the courts need to remove some of his publications off of the social media. Personally, that's what I think needs to happen because he's going to get his publications, his images are gonna get reposted, and people don't know what he's done. It look good to them. Um, they look good, and they will think, okay, look at this black man with the feathers, and he's speaking a whole lot of. He must be about that life. No, he's not about that life, because he had a whole heap of issues himself. He was in the suburbs. He grew up in the suburbs, and he was from boys them boarding schools to boarding school. And I think that's where, I think when he got adopted, that's where Mr. Pope got him, to be honest. I mean, I can go and confirm it because there's loads of people who spoke about it. So he, on the other hand, he's been twisted. But if you also look on Netflix as well, okay, and I'm going to use Netflix as a good example. There's one called How to Make a Cult, and it tells you what is required of a cult leader. There's quite a few of them follow the whole template, okay? And we're not just referring to Jim Jones, we're going to referring to others who is not even talked about as much, not even Manson, talk about others. They always start off wanting to do music or want to do something. Very smart people, they can't get to do certain things, they end up hating the system, they try to come out of the system, then they end up raising groups or becoming some title, doing a group, and because of how they are, you know, they are they have the charisma. That's the word I'm looking for. They have the charisma, and they also take on that. They take on that, and then when they see that loads of people's coming to them, then then they kind of take liberties with the people, take their money, take their clothes, stop them from taking medication. In most cases, Mama Dia, for example, all sorts of things happen. Right? For all we know, carbonation's seen a lot of things. Half of the things they even spoke about. Velvet only does bust a little bit of it at one point, but then even then now, she seems to have reverted back to carbonation in another way. It's like, man. So I just think, I can't deal with them. These people jump into West African Yoruba tradition uninitiated and make a mockery of the tradition, not knowing the Orishas don't play that. We see the hurricanes taking Middle Passage routes. Yeah, I seen that. I seen that. And me and my friend have these same conversations about the ocean, particularly. Right, we have very deep conversations about the Orishas on the daily, because you see it in the skies and everything else you're just like, wow. Like, the Orishas do literally do appear, even in the West. They be appearing, they be there. Like, things will be get flung about, things will get mashed up. They're not destructive, but they dislike the plight of certain stuff. And I feel it's the time. It's the rise. People always talk about the rise of the Orishas. There is something going on, but people don't pay attention. So, like I said, no. Oh, and another thing, Wendell, and another thing, right? They'll be around they'll be talking about the West African traditions, and they don't even be around the community, around the Ifa community. You have to be around them. You have to know people of the from that system, because you don't know it all. We don't know it all. Yeah, sometimes they're there to answer questions that you don't know sometimes. And the initiated ones, what I like when the initiated ones, when they go and they get what is given to them and they come back, they just different. Their whole vibes are different. I've seen it for myself. Their whole vibes are different. Even if like in the West and you're around a Baba, I was around a Baba for a little while. And I mean, I still in contact with my Baba. He's my godfather, but at the same time, right? Right, I'm supposed to be linking to the Yoruba side. Um, so my understanding is that how you have to respect them in higher levels because they will just turn the whole place upside down. They will test you. Eshu is the biggest tester. He tests you consistently every single time, all the time. He'll put things in your way. He'll stop you from doing things. He'll mash up your whole life, and you're just like, "What happened?" You don't know, like, and people don't be around the system or they don't understand it, and also with the conscious community as well, I think as well, because like a person looks a certain way, they tend to go off by that as well, and that is the problem uh, as well. You know, like I said, we have the same problem over here, the same problem you guys be having in the Americas. We have the problem, but touch wood, we don't have Nature Boy over here. We probably do. Who knows? I haven't seen one yet, but I do keep an eye out in case I see similarities of like to that man because um there's a lot of people trying to scam people in the UK too. So they're having identity crisis. Christianity teaches every black person is a pagan and evil, so they hate themselves, but are still drawn to the dance, the spiritualism, but are taught to run from it. Yeah, yeah, it's interesting you say that because in High Ghetto, in the West Indies, Trinidad, I'll use Trinidad, right? Because I'm Trinidad, I'm half of that, right? At first, Trinidad used to not talk about the EFA system, and then later on, because it was called Shango, they used to call it Shango back in when I was coming up. And my gran never used to enter them places. She never used to do it. And but they probably was around. And later on, when I got older and I found out about the EFA system, then I started looking into it. Then I found out Aloes was part of it. Um, David Rodder. There's a few of them. A few of them. A lot of the musicians in Trinidad is linked to the EFA system. A lot of them. A lot. Even the women. And so when I started looking into it, I started seeing some of my childhood stuff. When my gran used to do her church, because she used to do African drums and that stuff um, as well. I mean, like we were white because we're kind of similar to the Santeria, the Lukumi a little bit. And there is a lot of similarities in it. There's a lot of similarities in the EFA. Then later on, I started seeing certain ones come forward and they was outwardly showing who they are, who they are. And I was like, wow, one of them being Ella Adele, singing Sandra. Um, Now I think there's another one called Empress EJ, and they show their, I call it the utterance because they are what they are, who they say they is, right? You see it on them, like it's like a beam of light. It's different to say Christianity, and especially if they've been to Africa and come back, when they're freshly come back from Africa, there's a whole different vibe to them. Okay, a whole different, there's a glow to them. So even when I saw Solar getting read by that guy and he's dressed in what he think is native indigenous dress, okay. Now there is indigenous people in Trinidad, right? There's indigenous people in Trinidad, right? But they're in Arima, Santa Rosa, and also in Palamine at the top of the hill. They speak predominantly Spanish. There's Spanish speakers in Trinidad, right? They speak it. The Belay, everything that you see represents something. Everything represents something. It's similar to Cuba. So, um, so when I see people making mockeries of certain stuff, I really have to look and just think to myself, wow, like, you know. I also come from a spiritual Baptist background, so it's totally different for me because you are placed in a certain workplace where you're supposed to be. You are placed in certain situations, and you got to try and work it out and somehow. Because to me, it's not always good to run to the Baba to always, get stuff done or whatever. Sometimes you have to figure out for yourself, right? And sometimes, right, you would know what you need to do, but others, I think it's different for others. If they're not brought up in certain backgrounds and certain stuff and they come from different places, the prisons, whatever, and all that, and they come across the system, and some people, I don't know, I mean, they make their own interpretation of the system, but the system is only run one way. It's all oral. So there's no books. If the books is written, it's because of the people who went amongst the people to go and get the information so they can put it into them books. They've gotten initiated, they've gone into it. And even some of the secrets cannot be all be given away. That's not how it goes. So when people say, like they talk about Eshu a certain way or Ocean as a demon and this stuff like that, she's none of those things. Actually, she's none of those things. What she will tend to do is if you piss her off, she'll just dry out the whole land. That's how deep she is, right? She'll dry out the whole land or she'll drown the whole world. That's how she works as well. But people don't get it, right? So unless you're around the people, around the community, around certain people, you're in conversation consistently with people, what like like asking questions, having conversations, your perceptive or your ignorance will get ahead of you. And that's the same thing with like you said, like at first it was looked on as a demon practice. But look how many different type of people be in that practice. So it can't be all that bad then. Even they will use their own practice against you, the people. And when it's your strength. So uh, that's my intake on it or my uptake on it, however. Um the strength that they give, like people, we tend to give away our strength because we are loving people naturally. Is in us. That's how we are sometimes. But to me, I feel certain secrets, certain things should not be given away. Sometimes you have to vet a person. Right? I met a priestess. She vets you. She don't play with you. She don't play with you. She don't just take you on like that. She really looks at you. She watches you before you can even get near to her like that. You can't get near to her like that. And that's where I feel um the misconception. That's when Philly Bruja done a whole breakdown on it. Philly Bruja don't talk about the ether a lot, but when she do go to them levels and she breaks it down and she talks about her crowning and she talks about certain stuff, um, it's one of those conversations where like if you know what she's talking about, then you know what's going on. But if you don't know, you're just looking at it from books you read and stuff like that. Like, you haven't seen a person, you haven't seen the spirit mount a person, you haven't seen certain stuff, you will never understand it. And that's the difference I feel in certain people. And when Solar keeps saying, oh yeah, this, that, and the other, and the other, the other, stuff he's read on the internet, he's either read it on the internet or he's seen it somewhere or whatever. Right. So that's how I look at it like that. My grandparents hid it in their Catholic religion. They pretended to worship Catholic saints and had private addressed their Orishas. Many still hide. They treat Yoruba as important. Yes, now they do. Something you hide. Yeah, that's how I look at me. For 20 years, I ran a poetry camp and did spoken word, and that's how I met many initiated. They put Orishas in their poetry. Yeah, yeah, and that's the same. It's like it's meant to be. And I don't mix with a lot of people, especially since I got into certain places. I try to protect myself a little bit because um people will misunderstand. They misunderstand and they don't get it. And people are always curious to what you are. What are you? What are you? What are you? You know, people want to put you in a box. What are you? What are you? Sometimes you can't tell a person what you are, especially if you're talking to a Nigerian person. Nigerians, not all Nigerians are into Ifa. They know of the festivals. They know of all that stuff. Some of them are not into it. Some of them are hard Christians, hard Muslims, and they don't like them stuff sometimes. You know, they probably will go behind closed doors and go and do what they have to do, but they will not. Some of them will not acknowledge it. Um, Nigeria, what I also like about Nigeria, I think Nigeria and Cuba is similar in certain ways and other places because they do massive festivals. The whole village, town, wherever people travel from far to go to the festivals. For people from the west go over there. It's a big thing. It's not just a little thing. And when people treat the Rishas like they're whatever, like, I just be like, damn, like, I'm surprised they ain't done you nothing. You know, even when you're calling their names all the time, um, and it all depends on where you're saying certain stuff as well, who you're talking to, what's the communication between you and that person as well. Because, like I said, many of them are still underground. They're not all of the priestesses show themselves. Not all of them. Not all of the priestesses. Oh, you did the Roomba. Oh, okay, okay. Yeah, I like the Roomba and the Clava. Um, um. They don't always show themselves sometimes. You'll be surprised. They don't wear their chains. Not all of them wear their lakeys and come out and put it on show. The devotees, you will never know that person's devotee unless you talk to them or you happen to see them somewhere. I can't tell you how many times I've been to the Enya and I bumped into people I know in the Enya and I found out that they're linked to the Baba and I was like, oh, I didn't know you was into this. And they say, yeah, I've been doing this for how long, how long, how long? They start saying how many years they've been into it. I said, oh, okay. Like they suffer to me a lot. And my Baba, because he's a musician, right, he knows a lot of people. He knows enough people. Right. He knows a lot of people through music, otherwise and other stuff. And his house will be packed full of people when it comes to that Enya. And he was like, it's something else. It's when you're there and the person is truly that and they do it in the purest of form, you're just like, wow, that it totally blows you away. Um, I can't say I'm an expert on Orishas. No, I'm not an expert on Orishas. I just know for myself what is going on sometimes. But I feel that because of the people, the circles where I've been in. So um I don't have to prove nothing to nobody. They talk of people slate systems and stuff like that, but you have to sacrifice a lot of stuff to get in life. It's because it's not just the sacrificing, like they think it's just the animal. No, you sacrifice a lot of stuff for yourself, and people don't get it. Like every single day, you do the same thing. You sacrifice your time. You sacrifice, you know, taking time with your children, your family, um because you're working or whatever. It's a constant thing. You're consistently doing it anyway. You just don't realize that you're doing it. You sacrifice your money to give to the taxes. you know you buy expensive things and that's it. Oh, you're part of them. So the all stars, then the all stars, I forgot what they're called. The all stars, they're all stars. They travel around with the Roomba. I seen it. I probably seen you on there, didn't realize. But yeah, yeah. So, and it's a whole way of life in Cuba. In Cuba, particularly, they are, I would say, amazing to watch. Cuba is amazing to watch, right? All of a sudden, somebody will start dance of ocean, and the whole place moves. They shift for that dancer. They shift out the way. They shift out the way. As soon as they see Eshu, the whole thing, everybody shifts out the way. And I haven't seen it in live form. I want to see it in live form because to me, that's just to be in that presence, in that energy. That's just something else. That's a whole nother something else. Because I'm thinking, if the Indians are anything like that, what the dancers alone is so amazing. They dance such skill. They are initiated, or I think they're initiated into dance or something like that. I can't remember how it goes, but they are very much like that energy. You see it in the dance as well, and they it's just something to be behold. I cannot describe it to you. What's it like being in an Enya? I cannot describe what's it like to be around the community. It's something to see. It's something to behold. And Ocean really, she chooses. She right. You can't say, oh yeah, right. I choose Ocean. No, they choose you from birth. You know, from birth. Unless you go and get that reading, then you know, yeah, high shadow, then you know, yeah, right. You have to get the reading to make sure, or to high shadow, I think it's shadow, DSA, um, right. You have to know what you're dealing with because that's how you know your path as well, right? You can't choose them. Even Billy Bruja said this numbers of times. Billy Bruja, I think there's another lady who speaks on this, right? If you are a child of Oshun or whatever, now people think Oshun, she's just a sexual object, and that's it. No, she's not just that. She is a warrior by herself. Even she's the youngest. She's the baby of all the Orishas. She's the youngest one. She's the baby. It's like a teenager out of all of the Orishas, and she controls a lot. She really controls a lot of leverage. She and her sister don't play, and Oya don't play. If all three of them come together, you're in big problems. Um, it's the same with the males. The males sides, them energies don't play at all. Um, oh hi Shadow. I thought as much. That's what I'm saying. You're right, Shadow. and and um to be honest, to be honest, to be honest, like I said, when you're around the system and you're around the people, and as much as I look like a Muslim on the outside, but then on the inside, it's something else totally going on inside. Um, I really embrace what is going on. Sometimes I embrace it, and I just like I'm more settled than I've ever been. To put it that way, I'm more settled than I've ever been. When I was in Nation Rasta, there was a whole something else. When I reached Ether, that was something else. That's just changed the whole play altogether. Like I said, when you're around those priestesses and the priests, especially the Yoruba talking ones, oh my days, the Cubans, that's a whole nother level. When you're around the Cubans, it's just a whole nother level of the chain, something else. That's like a whole party. That's a party. That's a Orisha party by itself. That's the only way I can describe it. Like when I go to the Cubans, I feel like I'm still in my spiritual Baptist form. I really do. Sometimes, because it's no difference. It's no difference. at all. It's only the language that's the barrier. That's it. But as soon as you are sitting, conversating, you're asking people, well, how long you been in it? They tell you and they talk about it. They say that how you can't be vegan when you're a priestess, and they tell you, they really tell you. You know, they don't tell you everything, but they tell you some things. You know, everything's protocol in Lukumi is very much protocol. You can't just go in and say, yeah, don't go like that. If the baba is a good baba, you have to go in there all properly. Like, you can't be on no play. You can't be on no, okay, I'm just going to do this for a time and then I'm going to go bounce over there. No, you can't even do that. You can't throw away your stuff. You can't do nothing. You don't go like that, right? It's a lifetime. It's a lifetime thing. It's a way of life. It's a way of life. And it could be anybody from an office person, a cleaner, could be right there standing next door to you. You never know, because like everybody's all in one, they're all in sync with each other. And I miss the Enyas for that. I really do. I used to love going Enyas, man. That was my thing. Like when Bob was calling and he said, you know what, I'm doing an Enya for this. I said, okay, I will try and reach. Sometimes you're not leaving till midnight, 1 o'clock when it's finished. That's when you leave. You know, and it's people scoff at certain stuff. But I just think sometimes, right, not everybody's meant to be a Christian. Everybody's meant to be whatever. Everybody's meant to be Hare Krishna. And I know people scoff at religion, but it's not a religion, it's a way of life. I just call look at me, Ifa. Ifa is basically a way of life, right? Like, you know, all like basically all you're doing is returning to yourself. That's what you're doing. You just don't realize it. And it's not for everybody, it's for some. It's a thing that you have to, like, when you know when it's for you, it's for you. When it's not for you, it's not for you. Like, you know, you can't, like, I've seen people mix mummy water with ocean and I'll be like, what the hell? Like, it's two different energies. Mummy water is a whole nother energy. They're the same but they're different. They're similar but they're different. So um yeah, yeah, it's a it's a something to behold. And I wouldn't say to people don't go to them places. And there's Palo, which is hotter. According to my baba, he said Palo's the hot one. I said, I don't want none of that. I said, I don't think I can deal with the Palo. Palo, I think, is the next side of it. But the look at me is okay. It was just, they say it's the watered down version of the Nigerian one, but I don't know. I beg to differ on that, because your ancestry line sometimes takes you where you need to be. I think, you know what I mean. And I think I'm part of two worlds, but I just don't know it yet. So I just think to myself, it is what it is. I mean, even the other day I was looking at Amma and I said, "Oh my God, Amma, you got my nose." Like, I goes, "Amma, you got my nose." I looked at her. I said, "Wow, we kind of look kind of similar." It's interesting in certain ways, but it's not noticeable. And and it's interesting, like, to me, like, you know, people say, yeah, you gotta do ancestry, genealogy, and blah blah blah. To me, some people is where this should be. Some people lives in Uganda, who's from the West, and they naturally go there by themselves. And it's like some people live like as though they've been living there for years. It's like, you know, so I don't scoff at journey of a people. I just don't like when people misread, misunderstand what it is, thing is, or what that is, or whatever. Okay, what's not for you might not be for me. So um it's just been, you have to think logically in a certain way. Like I said, I'm a very optimistic person by nature anyway. I try to be. I've got a little harder as I got older in years. But I'll tell you one thing though, I'm not that same stupid girl from 20 years when I was 20, that quiet one, that naive person in the room. Because like I'll be there and I don't even say none. And I literally, like, children, I'll say this, children, if a child don't like you, sometimes there's a reason for it. Children, children see you. That's what it is as well. If people don't see you, children see you. Um, Babies, lots of babies see me. Sometimes I'll be sitting down and I don't even know the baby or whatever. And, it's just a natural thing. And some people have mother energies and all sorts of stuff going on with them. And, people don't, they can't relate. They can't relate because they can't relate. I would say I was the black sheep of the family. I've always been the black sheep of the family, so called black sheep of the family. Uh, I've never changed how I am. If anything, if anything, I've got more stricter on myself. I'm very strict in myself. I might be a little lenient on my children, but I'm strict on myself um, on certain stuff. But at the same time, I know where my bread is buttered, and I don't play. I don't play with that side. So you know, so that's how I look at it. But yeah, I mean, I could give you loads of experiences of going to Indians, but for me to tell you and for you to experience it is something else. The room is electric. The room is electric from when they call from SU, they start calling all of them, so they call to the last one. The room's electric. It's like a family, and if you're in a bad one, you would know because you know Babbas don't tell you everything, They don't tell you everything. They don't tell you the whole thing. They tell you half the loaf. Then it's like you gotta go off and go work out yourself and come back, ask him, oh, and they'll go, okay, yeah, yeah, it's this. Yeah. So, you know, but they call them dogmas or something like that. I'm like, okay. That's your opinion. That's your opinion, and I know different. Yeah, rest in peace, Benjamin Seponai. He is a good poet. He spoke to the order of the British Empire, member of the British Empire, and says how the empire oppressed all his life. Again, rest in yeah. He is a great man in his own right. And I'm not worshiping the man. I'm just saying he spoke about what it was like being West Indian, moving to England, what his mother went through. He he had to fight a lot of the time. He was in fights and stuff like that. I think he did go to prison. I can't remember the story. This story is interesting anyway. I did actually do a build on him a year. I can't remember how long ago. It's on. You had to look down to go find it. So, but yeah. So I don't know what else to say after that. Really, after all that big long speech. But anyways, um, yeah. But I am gonna go because I got school run. I think somebody probably live tomorrow, and I normally go do my reactors walk through YouTube, and yeah. But thank you, people, for coming through. Professor Cupcake, Wendell, Leonard, Chrissy, Ghetto Child, and Shadow. Yeah, but I am gonna go off to be honest now. And I don't know. Whatever jumps up at me, I will just come live. But till then, I don't you know. But yeah, I just thought I'd just do a little, and then I'll see you in the next live or upload in the comments, wherever, around the chats. But I'll see you guys anyway. So let's be safe out there. There's a lot going on. There's a lot going on. Let's watch with the Christian keys thing. I think right at the present time, a couple months ago it was Diddy. I think they're slowly going down the line of people. That's what I think is going on as well. And I think more people's gonna get seen day by day, month by month, whatever. But yeah. So with that said, I'll see you later or whenever I do another live. Take care. Bye bye.